Hi everyone, so this is really random, really quite awkward for me. I've never done anything like this, any videos or anything to do with my face basically, or my voice, because I just find it really awkward and weird. But we're currently in day God knows what of lockdown and I've been seeing that a lot of people have been struggling mentally online. A few friends I've spoken to said they're struggling a bit, and I have myself, to be fair, and I've had some really rough days in lockdown. So yeah, I thought I would just do a video just talking about some stuff to do with like mental health issues and issues that are happening throughout the world at the moment. I've always been pretty good with public speaking, or when I was in school I was, apparently, so I won a few competitions, but I also find this ridiculously awkward, so please excuse my awkwardness basically. So yeah, I just wanted to come and talk about like two sort of biggest ones I suppose that everyone's aware of and knows about and maybe had some experience at least once in their life, is anxiety and depression. Things that I've actually struggled with since I'd say around the age of 8 or 9. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about those issues, and I was actually debating not even doing videos. I've been thinking about it for a couple of months now. I've been saying to a couple of friends like, oh, should I do it, should I not? And when I was actually going to video today, I sadly got the news that a mutual friend had actually taken their own life today at such a young age. I won't say who, obviously I'm not going to mention any names or anything like that, but it was under the age of 16, so yeah, I just felt like that was a sign that we just need to talk a little bit more about this. It is spoken about a bit, well actually it's actually quite spoken about a lot, but I don't feel like it's spoken about in depth enough, and so many people suffer with it in such different ways. I mean, I've got my own ways of dealing with it, I'm sure everyone does, and I suppose now I feel like I can talk about it a bit more because I'm starting to understand it a bit better, whereas for the last 5 years when it's sort of been its worst, I haven't really understood what's going on in my head and in my life, but I kind of get it a little bit more now. So yeah, I guess for me, my journey started, as I said, when I was about 9 or 10. Just the basic bullying at school, really bad. I had to move schools. It became so bad that I was going to doctor's appointments, hospitals. I wasn't really eating, I was losing a lot of weight. Wasn't very social. Really struggled to sort of not be around my mum because of it. So yeah, that was the start of it. And then I suppose I don't really remember much else. I had so much going on in my life. I was dancing so many days of the week, so that sort of took over my life. So I was really grateful that I had that to build up my confidence as a person, and it was just a hobby that was more of a lifestyle for me at the time, which was really, really good. It took my mind off of it. So yeah, for a good few years I suppose it was sort of in the background a little bit, and it got a bit worse when I was in secondary school. Not so much in the first few years. In the first few years of secondary school I was doing so well, winning head teachers award, as I said, like public speaking awards, I was winning all of those. I was in A's, A stars, sort of top marks, set 1 for every class until around about year 9, and then that's when more bullying started with me. I never fully understand why I was bullied. I've never understood it at all as to why people do it. I was getting it really bad from people in school, making really horrible comments about myself, but my mum mostly, which was obviously the worst. People talking about you is one thing, but then people starting to speak about your family, it's disgusting. So that's never really left me. So yeah, year 9 was when it started to get bad again, and that's when I just started to sort of distance myself a bit from social situations. But then it just got really bad in sort of year 10, year 11, towards my exams. I was predicted pretty much A's and B's and everything, and that's not the results that I got, purely just because I've become so distracted from all the bullying that I had. My school didn't really do anything about it. This is going back sort of 8 or 9 years ago now, so mental health wasn't really, it was around, but it wasn't really focused on very much. So teachers really didn't do much about it. If my mum and dad would call the school, nothing could really be done. It would sort of just be the case of, oh, we'll have a chat with them, blah blah blah, but it never sort of, nothing ever happened. It just stayed the same. Sometimes would get worse. A group of friends stopped talking to me completely, so I was in school and I didn't really have anyone to talk to. So yeah, my last few years of secondary school were really bad. To be fair, most of my years in school I tried to not remember too much. The famous saying that people say, oh, the school days were the best days of your life, definitely wasn't the case for me. I couldn't wait to leave. And I haven't really stayed in touch with anyone since leaving, purely just because I just never felt like I fit in with anyone there, which is fine, it is what it is sort of thing. But yeah, I suppose the odd person messages me, which I find a bit odd sometimes, because some of them were the people that were bullying me in school, which is just odd. But yeah, I suppose you have to grow from these things, and people change, which is great. So left school, went to college, made some friends there who I still speak to now, which are really, really nice people, so I can't really fault them. But I don't know, I suppose I've always felt a bit different to everyone. I've never been on a girls' holiday, never been invited on one. I suppose working in the motor trade was probably reasons why most of my friends were boys, because they were the only people that were working with me at the time. But yeah, my anxiety and depression's got a lot worse over the last 2 to 3 years, I would say. Last year was probably the worst year dealing with it, purely just because I suppose you push it to the back of your mind for so long, and there's only so many times you can push it to the back of your mind until it just explodes on you. And a big part of it was, I suppose, don't really know where I want to go or what I want to do in life. So that's a massive pressure. I'm nearly 24 years old now and I still don't know what route to take, career, just anything really. So that was a massive pressure for me. So last year I actually went to the doctors and I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression. And for the whole year it just got worse and worse and worse. Personal situations made it worse. There's a few things that happened last year which just really threw me back and just made everything 10 times worse. That, and I suppose since leaving school, I probably couldn't even count on 2 hands now. It's probably more how many people have actually taken their life, and for some reason that takes a massive toll on me. Purely just because, I mean, I didn't really know these people very well. It's just people I went to school with and didn't really hang around with, or friends of friends, that sort of thing. But I suppose it just really bothers me that people get as low as that, mentally as low as that, to do something as upsetting as that. So yeah, that does take its toll on me, which is sad. So I suppose that is another reason for making this video. I don't even know where I'm going with all this, by the way. I have no notes, I'm just talking, so if I'm really boring, I'm sorry. But I suppose last year, so I was working somewhere and I just decided that it was time for me to move on. I'd been there nearly 2 years, so I moved on to a different company and they completely just really messed me up, and they messed me around, they didn't pay me, so that got me in debt because I wasn't paid. And then I went to another company and that's when my anxiety got really bad. I've never been good socially with big crowds of people, purely just because where I was bullied so bad, I guess, I always think that people are talking about me and I get really paranoid that people are talking about me, and for some reason it's always just felt like people just don't want to speak to me, people don't want to get to know me. I don't know why. I feel like I try to make an effort with people, but I don't know, I guess I've spoken to my mum about it, and she said, do I give off like a rude first impression? I'd like to think not, because I will talk to anyone if I have to. Not in a bad way, but just in a way that I will be friendly and introduce myself. But yeah, I've just never felt like, especially girls have just never liked me, which is really, really rubbish, because guys are great, but it's nice to have some girlfriends. I mean, I've got a couple of close-ish girlfriends, not of the same sort of circle, just all separate, who, one of them is just incredible. She checks up on me every single day. I know that I can go to her if I have any issues, so that's great. You really do need a friend like that, but it is sometimes really upsetting when you go online, Instagram, Facebook, which is just a demon as it is, and you see groups of girls like posting pictures about how much they all love each other and how they went on this holiday together, how they went there together, and I just think, why could I never have had that? I don't know, it's just, you then start to question yourself and think, oh, what's wrong with me? There must be something wrong with me. Am I weird? Like, I don't know. It's just the sort of things that you think of. So yeah, going back to, I was working in London. It was a really good job, really good paid job. I actually quite enjoyed the job, and I did really well in my first couple of months. But the anxiety of getting the train into London every day, I just couldn't do it. I would get to the platform and just burst into tears and need to be picked up straight away, because it got so bad. I don't know, I just guess that because it was an office full of so many girls, I just felt so uncomfortable, felt so out of it. They all had their own like cliques, which is fine. Like, obviously I'm new and need to fit in somewhere, but I just always had this problem of feeling like I don't fit in with anyone or anywhere. So that's a bit crap, but I guess I say I'm used to it, but you never kind of get used to not fitting in anywhere. So that's a bit rubbish, but yeah, so then I started going to the doctors, and as I said, I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression, and then I was deemed unfit to work. So I signed off for a couple of weeks, and a couple of weeks turned into a month, and a month turned into 2 months, and then I went back to my doctors and said, look, when am I going to be able to go back? And my doctor just said to me, you really need to take some time out, because I was extremely low at that point, and my doctor just didn't want me going back to work at all. So fortunately I ended up leaving my job, which was really upsetting, because it was a good job and the company was incredible and they were really supportive, more so than anywhere I've worked. But yeah, that was just time to give that up. So after I left that, I sometimes wouldn't leave the house for a week at a time, a couple of weeks at a time. I couldn't pluck up the courage to just leave the house. I remember going shopping with my mum, Christmas shopping. It was one of the first times I'd been out in a while, and I got into a shop and I thought I saw this older woman looking at me, and I thought, no, it's all in your head. And then my mum turned to me and said, oh, who does she think she's staring at? Because it was obvious she was staring at me. I don't know why. So I just had a massive breakdown, had a panic attack in the shop, nearly got to the car and just completely burst into tears and just wanted to go home. That put things into perspective, because I felt like I'd lived with anxiety for quite a few years, but now it was starting to control me and how I lived. So that was really hard. And then even now I have dark days. I think everyone does, especially whilst we're in lockdown. It's a bit of a rubbish time for everyone. But yeah, I just thought I would make this video just to sort of touch lightly on the issues. I mean, I would love to do more of these videos if it could help people. If there was specific things that people wanted me to talk about, any questions about anything, I'd be more than happy to talk about. I'm going to make this a weekly thing on a YouTube channel. So yeah, I mean, what I spoke about I would really only touch lightly. I mean, it can go into so much detail, But as I said, this is my first video, and yeah, still feeling a little bit awkward for me. So yeah, I hope it was kind of enjoyable, wasn't too boring. And I will do one in the next few days. If I get any suggestions come in, that would really be helpful, and to what to talk about. I don't just want to base it just on mental health, basically on any issues that people have, even issues I feel like there is in the world at the moment. I quite just like to talk about things. I'm quite opinionated, so that can be in my favour sometimes. So yeah, if you have any suggestions, please do give me a message. But yeah, hope it wasn't too painful. Thanks.